I just saw this headline, which is about 2 cold cases of teenage girls that died in 1982 and 1983. And they went cold until it sounds like 2022, pretty much, or this year, I guess. 2022 is when it sounds like they reopened the cases. And this takes place in Michigan. So Michigan State Police, 1st District Cold Case Unit, reopened the case into the 1982 murder of 16-year-old Kimberly Loisel. And she went missing in March 20th, 1982, and then was found April 14th. So it sounds like she was missing for almost a whole month.
Okay. Yeah.
And they also, at the same time, opened the case of 19-year-old Christine Castellon, and they were analyzing these cases. Well, they found DNA on Christine Castellon's body, and they, did their whole genealogy, workup type thing. They found a profile, and this man's name is Charles David Snow, who was 26 years old, but he died in 1983.
Okay.
Right? So his DNA was never put in CODIS, so they put it in CODIS, and then when they found DNA on Kimberly Loisel, Loisel's, body or wherever they found it, because it doesn't say where they found it exactly, they ran it through CODIS and found out it was his with her too.
Gosh.
So he is a suspect in both of their murders. And they think there's a possibility that he is responsible for more crimes. It
sounds like it's a good thing he passed then. Jeez,
yeah,
man.
from the early 1970s until his death in November 1983. So that whole span.
So then he started young then, really young.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
That's a young serial killer.
Yeah, yeah. Again, that goes back to what we were just saying with how serialists were between the 70s and 80s. I don't know why, but it was so common, that hillside, strangler type crime.
Yeah, I mean, this honestly kind of reminds me of, which it doesn't say he was ever in prison or anything, but Javina, oh my gosh, I think I'm mixing her name, Davina Janeo.
Yes,
in that whole string of young girls murders. I feel like we see a lot of those in the 70s and 80s of young girls, serial killers, of young girls.
Yes. I wonder if it had something to do with
16 and 19.
I wonder if it had something to do with how society viewed women versus men in that time. There wasn't much equality going on then, and I wonder if that put gas on the fire in these situations. I don't know. I always go back to the why in these situations. Now with this case, it's phenomenal that they connected them and figured it out. I hate when cases where you have family members that go decades and decades without finding anything out. I can't think of a worse situation. You know what I mean? I would be the lead detective and tell the police, you guys go sit down. I'm going to handle it. I couldn't deal. I would not be able to deal in this situation. So I'm glad that they were able to pull these cold cases out, figure out some things, and at least connect a who to the why or the situation.
I know. And Michigan State Police asked for anybody with information to contact Sergeant Larry Rothman at 313-407-9379. And we'll have it on the screen for tips.
Crimes or anything? Okay.
If anybody has any information from back then, if you live in Michigan or know who Charles David Shaw is, then, hit him up.
I'll try and find a picture and post it and everything, but there might not be one of him from back then.
I haven't seen anything. This is a Michigan State Police news release. It's literally just one page. But I thought it was amazing, and I find it interesting when we look into, it doesn't specifically, it says utilizing forensic genealogy. in the Kohberger case, like, we've learned how, like, now, granted, we don't know what kind of sample this is.
Yeah.
If it's touch DNA, which I kind of doubt, because it probably would have been degraded at this point.
Correct.
These are so old. They were
Correct.
from 1982, 1983, reopened in 2022.
Yeah.
From them going over the physical evidence and stuff again. So
it would have had to have been direct, like hair,
blood,
or
spit, hair, something like that.
Some sexual element. Yeah. Yep.
So I just, the genealogy testing specifically, though, also has its own issues.
Yep.
Like, that we've seen in the Kohberger case, and obviously he's dead now, but at least, like, if there's any family members still alive, they'll get closure. These cold cases will get closed and solved.
Yeah, I'm glad they were able to connect them, but in like this situation, it's a little bit different than Kohberger because you have two crimes with DNA, and they were able to connect the DNA successfully between those two crimes, and one of them already had the suspect tied to it. So then obviously it's the other one, and you wouldn't really need to do the genealogy if
he wasn't connected.
Oh, to either of them.
No, they were both cold cases that were reopened in 2022 at the same time.
Got it. Okay.
So one
that's
by
a
the
little bit different.
Livingston County cold case team was Christine Cassillon. That was the team working on hers. And the Michigan State Police were working on Loisel's.
Okay.
And they both opened them at the same time. And they did the genealogy in Castiglione's case. And they
flagged,
they made a profile. They put it in CODIS, then when they ran Loisel's DNA that they found in her, crime scene stuff, whatever, the physical evidence, it popped.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. That's one of the pros to the genetic genealogy is
it's
a
amazing.
Situation like that.
I know. The genealogy stuff is incredible. I love it. I think it's an amazing new technology. I think it's so cool that we get to solve so many of these cold cases. I just don't like the way it's being manipulated in the Kohberger case.
Sure. I think human rights needs to be taken into account when you're managing anything, even in DNA profiles. If somebody says that they don't want to give the federal government access to their DNA, that DNA is their body. It's the same as saying, hey, I'm a federal agent. Let me get that finger from you.
It violates
it's your body.
It violates our Fourth Amendment rights to improper search and seizure. But I also think it's incredible that two different law enforcement agencies, like cold case units, reopened these cases not knowing they were connected at all at the same time.
Yeah, maybe there's an expectation, though, that cold cases are... Because there are cold case investigators out there where there are police departments that have a cold case investigator where all he does is focus on cold cases. So maybe there's some kind of rule of thumb where, every decade you got to pull out this box of cold cases and look through them again, get fresh eyes on them, and try and close them. I don't know.
So I have heard police officers talk about this. They routinely go back through cold cases.
Yes.
Routinely. And not just one... I'm pretty sure lots of the police or investigators are required to do it.
Yeah.
But these were specific cold case units, both of them.
Sure.
And both of them did it, and they could have pulled any cold case, but they picked these ones.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. I wonder if there's anything more to that, or if it was just literally the universe coming together.
Yeah, it could be. Either way, I'm curious what you guys think about it.
Yeah, it's super cool, and
it is. It's a positive with the genetic genealogy in these situations. So
it really is.
Let us know what you think.